Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we really get into source material, pull it apart, and find the core insights. Today, we're looking at the 2026 Porsche Taycan. It's pitched as this blend of classic Porsche sports car feel and, totally cutting edge EV tech. So if you're here trying to figure out, okay, what is this car? Why did Porsche build it this way? And maybe what are the big trade-offs if you're actually thinking of buying one? Well, you're definitely in the right spot. Our goal today is simple. Pull out the crucial facts fast. And hey, if you find this useful, do us a quick favor. Hit that like button and subscribe right now. We put out new deep dives like this every week, really aimed at learners like you.
Yeah, the 26 model is pretty interesting. It's not just about like tweaking the battery a bit. They're really leaning into what made the Taycan stand out in the first place, that 800-volt architecture. This deep dive really shows Porsche focused hard on two things this time: raw power delivery and making the digital experience, more luxurious, more integrated. And the big headline, which I know we'll get into, is just the insane power bump on that new Turbo GT model. We're talking over 1,000 horsepower.
Okay, yeah, let's jump right into that performance bit, because that's kind of the heart of the Taycan story, isn't it? It's meant to be an electric driver's car, not just another comfy electric sedan. Looking at the numbers, the range starts pretty strong, actually. 402 horsepower for the base rear-wheel drive, but then it just rockets up. 938 horsepower for the Turbo S, and then, yeah, that Turbo GT, it almost sounds unbelievable. Over 1,000 horsepower.
Oh, it's definitely up there. Absurd is a good word. The source material pins it at 1,019 horsepower, specifically when you hit launch control. I mean, these figures are just staggering, and it translates directly to how fast it gets off the line. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. Around 2.2 seconds.
2.2 seconds, and I saw mention of the WISAC package. That shaves off even more time, down to 2.1.
Exactly. Another tenth of a second faster.
So what is the WISAC package? We hear that term with Porsches. What are they actually doing to get that extra tiny bit of speed? Is it just software?
No, it's physical, and it connects to something we'll probably touch on later: weight. The WISAC package is basically Porsche stripping weight out for maximum track performance. So for the Turbo GT, if you tick that box, you lose about 71 kilos. That means ditching the rear seats entirely, putting in lighter racing buckets up front, less sound deadening, simpler trim, stuff like that.
Oh, okay, so it's serious.
Yeah, it signals who this car is really for. It's aimed squarely at track days, not necessarily, comfortable cross-country cruising. And the top speed reflects that too, up to 305 kilometers per hour on that top trim.
Incredible speed. But let's talk about the tech behind that speed. The sources really hammer home this 800-volt architecture point. Can you explain that? Like, why does it matter? Why did Porsche go this route when it's more complex?
Right. It's probably the single biggest differentiator for the Taycan compared to almost everyone else out there. Running at 800 volts instead of the more common 400 volts has a couple of key advantages. It lets them use thinner, lighter copper wiring throughout the car, which helps offset just a bit the sheer weight of that battery pack. That's kind of the engineering win. But the practical win, for you, the driver, is the charging speed. It enables incredibly fast DC charging up to 320 kilowatts.
Okay, 320 kilowatts. Translate that for us. How fast is incredibly fast in, like, real-world terms? At a compatible charger, obviously.
Yeah, ideal conditions are key here. But assuming you find a powerful enough charger, you're looking at going from 10% battery up to 80% in roughly 18 minutes.
18 minutes, wow.
Yeah, it really changes the game for long trips. It helps tackle that range anxiety issue because recharging isn't this hour-long affair anymore. It's more like a quick coffee stop.
Okay, that's a big deal. The other unique mechanical thing is the transmission, right? Most EVs just have one gear. Porsche stuck with a two-speed on the back axle. That adds weight, complexity. Why? Was it just engineering pride, or did it solve a real problem?
I think it was necessary for their performance goals. That two-speed box is a statement. It says they prioritize that immediate, brutal launch feel over, say, the ultimate simplicity or maybe even efficiency of a single gear. So first gear, super short, really aggressive, is purely for getting that insane acceleration off the line, those 2.1, 2.2 second times. Then, once you're moving, it shifts into the taller second gear for more efficient high-speed cruising and better range. It's a mechanical way to get the best of both worlds, performance-wise.
Interesting. Okay, let's shift gears ourselves, moving from the mechanics to the inside. The 2026 updates seem really focused on the digital experience, the cockpit. Sources talk about, like, 4 screens. Sounds like a lot.
It is. It's very much a digital-first environment. You've still got that signature big, curved, 16.8-inch driver display.
Right.
What's cool is it doesn't have that traditional hood over it, so it kind of floats there. Very modern look. Then next to that, the main 10.9-inch center touchscreen, there's an optional screen for the passenger too.
Right, the passenger screen.
And then another screen down low, mainly for climate controls.
Okay, 4 screens. Now, one criticism I remember hearing about older Taycans was maybe a little lag in the system sometimes. Have they fixed that? Is it more responsive now?
They say so. Apparently, Porsche put in significantly faster processing hardware for 2026. The aim is, instant response, no lag when you're swiping or tapping. And a big software change is the new App Center. This lets you actually download some third-party apps like Spotify or whatever directly onto the car's system. So you're maybe less reliant on just plugging in your phone for everything.
That's useful. And the voice control. Porsche Voice Pilot gets an upgrade too.
Yeah, it now integrates Amazon Alexa. So in theory, voice commands should be a lot smarter, more natural, and handle a wider range of requests than before.
Okay. And you mentioned the digital experience.
Okay.
That extends to audio too, right? Something about Dolby Atmos.
Yes. If you spring for the optional Burmester or Bose sound systems, they now support Dolby Atmos surround sound. That's actually a pretty big upgrade for audiophiles. It creates a much more immersive three-dimensional soundstage in the car. Makes music or podcasts sound, well, almost cinematic.
Nice. Let's touch on materials quickly. It's a Porsche. It's expensive. Does the cabin feel premium? I know they offer leather, but they're also pushing other stuff.
Definitely high-end materials, as you'd expect. You can get traditional leather, sure, but they also heavily promote sustainable, leather-free options. The main one is called Racetex.
Racetex.
Yeah, it's basically a high-quality synthetic microfiber. Think Alcantara, that suede-like feel. It's durable, lighter than leather, and looks quite sporty. And comfort features are all there, too. Standard adaptive air suspension, which is great. Then you can add, 14-way or even 18-way adjustable sport seats, heating, cooling, even massage functions on the higher-end models.
Okay, sounds plush. But what about practicality? Performance cars often sacrifice trunk space. How does the Taycan manage? Is there a frunk?
Yep, there's a front trunk. It's about 84 liters. Not huge, but perfect for throwing the charging cables in. Maybe a small overnight bag. Keeps them out of the main trunk. The rear trunk itself is decent. In the sedan, it's 407 liters. The Sport Turismo and Cross Turismo wagon-like versions get a bit more, up to 446 liters. And if you really need to haul something, especially in those Turismo models, fold the back seats down and you get over 1,200 liters of space. So it's surprisingly practical for a performance EV.
Okay, good to know. Now the big question, competition. When you're spending this kind of money, you're looking at some serious rivals.
Yeah.
How does the Taycan stack up? Let's start with the obvious one, Tesla Model S Plaid. Speed King, right?
Right. The Plaid generally wins on sheer straight-line acceleration, that drag race pull. And often, it boasts a better EPA range figure. But the sources consistently say the Plaid feels more like a very fast appliance, maybe. Whereas the Taycan feels like a car. The interior quality, the materials, the switchgear in the Porsche are just in a different league. And crucially, it's the handling. The Taycan steering feel, how it grips in corners, the overall driver engagement. That's where Porsche really differentiates itself from Tesla. It's about the driving experience, not just the 0-60 time.
Okay, what about Lucid Air? Their big thing is range, right?
Exactly. Lucid Air is the range monster. Some trims can go over 800 kilometers on a charge, which is massive, and the interior is very spacious, very airy. Lucid also offers huge power outputs, don't get me wrong. But again, when it comes to that sharp, dynamic handling, that sporty feel, the Taycan usually gets the nod. Lucid feels more like a futuristic luxury cruiser. Taycan feels like a sports car that happens to be electric.
And the German rival, Mercedes-Benz EQS, the S-Class of EVs.
Pretty much. The EQS is all about ultimate comfort, refinement, isolation from the road. It's incredibly quiet and smooth. And that optional MBUX hyperscreen across the dash is, well, it's a spectacle.
A big screen.
A very big screen. So Mercedes definitely wins if your top priority is serene luxury and comfort. But if you want a car that feels agile, communicative, fun to drive fast on a twisty road, the Taycan is sharper, more engaging. Different priorities.
Makes sense. And Porsche needs to back this all up with solid warranties, especially for the battery. What's the coverage like?
It's strong. Pretty standard for this premium EV class, actually. The battery warranty is typically 8 years or 100,000 miles, 160,000 kilometers, whichever comes first. That gives some peace of mind on the most expensive component. Safety-wise, it scored well, too. It got a 5-star Euro NCAPP rating back when it was first tested in 2019, with high scores for protecting adults and kids. And you get standard stuff like automatic emergency braking and adaptive cruise control.
Okay, so the basics are covered, but now let's get into the really interesting part, the trade-offs. The criticisms we see in the sources, and the big one has to be the price, right? Starts high, gets higher.
Yeah, that's probably the Taycan's biggest hurdle. The base price, around $106,000 estimated, is already premium territory. But the options list is extensive and expensive. You start adding performance upgrades, nicer interior bits, maybe ticking the box for a Turbo or Turbo S, and that price climbs incredibly fast. We're talking well north of $200,000 for a highly optioned top model.
Wow.
Yeah. Reviewers often point out you're getting into like entry-level supercar money at that point.
Yeah.
So you really have to want the specific thing that Taycan offers, that Porsche driving feel.
And that price point makes one of the car's inherent characteristics even more notable, the weight.
Exactly. It's a heavy car. Most versions are well over 2 metric tons. That's over 5,000 pounds, all thanks to that big battery pack. Now, Porsche engineers have done, frankly, an amazing job with the suspension and chassis control systems to make it feel agile. It handles incredibly well despite its weight. But physics is physics. That mass still impacts overall energy efficiency compared to lighter EVs. And, over the long run, it means things like tires and brakes will likely wear out faster. It's just more mass to control and stop.
And even with that super fast 800-volt charging range is still sometimes mentioned as a relative weakness compared to, say, Tesla or Lucid, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And it seems like a conscious choice by Porsche. They've arguably prioritized consistent performance delivery, handling dynamics, stability at speed, maybe over-squeezing out the absolute maximum possible range number. So while the range has improved for 2026, if you drive it enthusiastically, like a Porsche, you probably won't see the same highway miles as you might in a top-spec Model S or Lucid Air. It's that trade-off again, maximum driving emotion versus maximum distance.
Okay. And the last main criticism seems to focus on the inside again. We talked about the cool screens, but maybe too many screens. The lack of buttons.
That's definitely a point of contention, especially for driving purists. Putting almost everything, including basic climate controls, onto touchscreens.
Right.
It looks clean, very futuristic, but it undeniably requires you to take your eyes off the road more often, to accurately hit a virtual button compared to just reaching for a physical knob or switch you can feel. It can be more distracting, especially when you're driving quickly.
Right, that tactile feedback is missing. So you've got the high cost, the significant weight, maybe not class-leading range, and this very screen-heavy interface. What's the counter-argument? Why do people buy this car and love it? What's the core benefit?
It really boils down to one thing. Consistently across all the reviews and commentary, how it drives. The steering is incredibly precise. The chassis feels incredibly stable and planted, the way it manages its weight and just grips. The consensus is that it delivers a truly engaging emotional connection for the driver. It feels, fundamentally, like a Porsche sports car, just powered by electricity. That's the magic they're selling.
Okay. So wrapping this up, the final analysis seems pretty clear. The 2026 Taycan isn't trying to be the ultimate EV for everyone.
No, definitely not. It's an investment in a very specific package. State-of-the-art charging tech combined with absolutely top-tier driving dynamics in the EV world. It's not really competing to win on maximum range or cargo space. It's built to deliver that premium electric performance luxury experience. You're essentially paying for that signature Porsche feel.
So for you listening, what this means is you're looking at a landmark car, really. One that showed EVs don't have to feel disconnected or boring, but you absolutely have to go in knowing you're paying a serious premium for that unique handling and engineering. And you need to be okay with the trade-offs, especially around running costs related to its weight and maybe not having the absolute longest legs on the highway. All right, before we go, here's a final thought to mull over, sparked by that Turbo GT discussion. We heard the fastest Taycan gets there partly by shedding 71 kilos, which is significant, but the car is still fundamentally heavy. So looking ahead at extreme EV performance, does the future lie more in relentless, difficult weight reduction? Or is it just easier to keep piling on more and more horsepower to overwhelm the mass? Something to think about as this whole EV performance race continues to accelerate. Thanks for diving deep into the 2026 Porsche Taycan with us today. If this was valuable for you, please give us a like, hit subscribe, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.